Hello and welcome to take number 5 of map projections with Mrs. B. Acosta. This has taken me 5 times to get right. Today what we're going to be talking about is what map projections are, what the different types of map projections we may come across, and how are they different from one another. So let's start with what a map projection is. A map projection is a way of showing the curved three-dimensional surface of the Earth on a flat two-dimensional map. So imagine those round inflatable globes we've been using in class. A map projection would be taking that 3D version and making it nice and flat so that it would be on your desk. So there are different types of map projections for different purposes, depending on what you needed them for. So the first one we're going to talk about is a Mercator map projection. As you can see on the right, it is rectangular in shape, and it's used mostly for marine navigation. So if I needed to get from Miami to Mexico, this would be the best one for me to use. Now, why is that? Because the Mercator map projection's biggest advantage is that it shows true direction between places, the best out of all map projections. So if I needed to know the true distance between any two places on Earth, this is going to be the best projection for me. The major disadvantage of the Mercator map projection is that land size is distorted or misrepresented near the North and South Pole. So if you see on the right in our projection, I've labeled Greenland and I've labeled South America. Now in this map projection, they look similar in size, but in reality, Greenland is actually closer in size to Mexico. So when we want to think about what the size of continents are, this isn't the best map projection for us. Also, if you look at Antarctica, which is to the south on our map projection, it looks rather large. And again, this is because it is distorted by its size. So advantage, true direction, disadvantage, land size, not accurate. The next one we're going to talk about is the Robinson map projection. Now, the shape of this one is rectangular in shape, and we like to say it has rounded edges. So imagine we took a rectangle and we just rounded out the sides, and that's what we've got here. And this is the most common map projection that you'll find. A lot of them are in textbooks, online. This is just the most common that you'll find. And the advantage of this one is that the continents that you see are shown truest in size and shape. So if I was focusing on what the size and the shape of the continents are, this would be the best map projection for me. But one of the disadvantages of this is that the North and the South poles are flattened. So we know in like our 3D models of a globe, we have the top and we have the North and the South pole. Where here they've kind of flattened out the top, so it's a little bit inaccurate towards the North and the South Pole. Finally, we have the Winkel Tripel map projection. Now you'll notice this one's a little bit more rounder in shape, similar to a sphere or a globe. Now the advantage of this map projection is that there's minimal or small amounts of distortion in the size of the land continents, the distance between places, and the direction. So when we talk about north, south, east, and west, this one's pretty good at keeping that true to direction. But the disadvantage is that the distortion between the north and the south poles are there. And you'll also notice that the latitude lines are curved. So we've talked about latitude lines being parallel to one another, but in this particular map projection, they are not. Now, one of the biggest differences between the Winkel Tripel and the Robinson projection are their sizes. I wanted to point this out to you. If you see on the right-hand side, we've got the Robinson projection, which we said is that rectangular shape with the curved edges, and the Winkel Tripel is more round. And these two are really easy to get confused because of those rounded edges. But just keep in mind that the Winkel Tripel is closer in shape to an actual globe, where the Robinson projection is like I took the globe and I stretched it and I curved those edges. So in review, we've got the Mercator map projection, which is in your top right. It's rectangular in shape. It's good for boating, navigating the water. And the best thing about this projection is that its true direction between places on Earth are accurate. If I need to know the distance between two places, this is what I want to use. But the land side is awful. If I am looking to see what size the continents are, this one's not going to be very helpful. The Robinson projections in the center, and that one's our rectangular shape with the rounded edges. Most commonly used map projection. The best thing about this projection is that it's true to size and shape of the land, and the north and south poles are flat. So that's what we have to keep in mind when we're using this one. And finally, we have the Winkel Tripel projection, which is in your top right corner. This one's rounded in shape. There's a small amount of distortion in land size, distance, and direction, but our latitude lines are curved. Oh no, sad face. And the north and south pole are distorted. I hope this was useful. If you have any questions, please let me know. And you just learned something new today.